Hello and welcome. Well, it is the season finale, round 12 of the Apex Racing League GT3 trophy here live and exclusive from the Apex Racing TV esports studios. And what a season it has been. We've had drama, we've had excitement, thrills, spills, disappointment, anger, jubilation and triumph. And every step of the way, this guy's been joining me. Sam Fitzpatrick joins myself, Tim Cox here. Well, what a season it has been. But let's not forget Suzuka. That was a little bit of a tricky one. Let's have a look at the highlights. I had to look at those earlier. Just to remind ourselves of what happened just 1 week ago from the land of the rising sun. Well, of course, Suzuka 1 week ago. The two-race format always can be a bit tricky with that shorter time period. However, everyone got away really cleanly. Just when the Audi's running wide there, but nothing too much to report. Can be a bit of a traffic jam here through the S's. However, so easy to lose it into turn one. Just about to see Will Dames on board with Arvidsson here. It's how easy, especially with all the weight being in the rear of that Lamborghini. Well, as for Arvidsson, this is his third overtake into the Casio triangle, showing how easy it is to get it done up the inside if you get your run through 130R done correctly. And Will Dames showing, well, anything you can do, I can do better. A beautiful dummy sold here to sneak through up the inside. That's the recovering, obviously, after his spin. And wow, from there, Peter Lemkins said, no, watch this. Round the outside of Clist at 130R. Done well before the Casio triangle. A great move from the Belgian driver there. And well, from there, Furlini, he went on to win race one. Now, race two, that got away in similar circumstances to race one. All really clean. Bit of argy-bargy, a little bit of rubbing doors, but nothing too much to report there. So everyone snaked their way through the snake. Ironically, it was all just nice and calm. Nothing to report. However, Bouts, watch this. Accident and evasion at absolute maximum kilter, where he missed his braking point. Spectacular scenes. This was Olsen up the inside. Lovely little move into the hairpin. Didn't see too many of those throughout the race. It was mostly done into the Casio triangle moves were. And, well, talking of which here, this is what happens when a pro streamer runs out of a bit of talent, just losing it on the exit of 130R there, did Samson, and Tricoli finding the side of him. And, well, for the lead, Matthias Martinsen. Been in a bit of the shadows, really, of his two teammates, but defending really well here into Casio triangle, and then also into turn one, just bending that inside line with all of his might and spirit. And from doing so, well, what does that mean? Under the cover of darkness, the sun setting in Japan, he was able to go on and take the victory in race two. Well, here we go. What we're going to have this week. Well, welcome back, and well, it was, well, as you've just seen, an eventful race last time out, but about that manoeuvre, Sam, to missing his braking point and then managed to slalom his way pretty much a full chat through everyone. That's something that's definitely going to live rent-free in my memory from this season. Yeah, to watch it live, it was pretty epic, and from the viewing that we got when we were watching it live, we had no idea where he went. We saw the starts of it, and we were just keeping our fingers crossed that he wasn't going to end up hitting anyone. But I thought Suzuka was maybe the best round of the season because the field was so competitive. I think there were upwards of 10 drivers who honestly had the pace to win out Mattia Fulini. I mean, that very well earned race victory in race one. And then, of course, a little bit of a surprise, Matthias Martinsen, who had a very tricky round at Magny-Cours just a week previous, being able to put together a superb defensive drive. When I was watching back the race, I forgot how many defensive manoeuvres he had to put. Paul Lang sent 3 or 4 attempts at him through that final chicane into turn one. Martinsen did not miss an apex though for the entirety of that last 10 minutes. Really fantastic race victory for him, and really glad that he could sort of end the season just though. And of course, then you've got the we've got the World Endurance Championship that's now joined obviously the IMSA race that happens here, as well as of course the virtual iRacing 12 Hours of Sebring to boot as well.
Yeah, it's an absolute classic for endurance racing, and particularly in these GT3 cars as well. Of course, that is what the Sebring 12 Hours is been in, and of course when WEC changes its lineup as well, the round at Sebring will also be featuring GT3 cars. But it's a very tricky circuit, this. I don't really much believe in good and bad circuits, if I'm totally honest. I think most drivers are pretty much the same at other circuits. However, this is my bad circuit. I really do struggle around this place, just getting the rhythm right. There's a lot of corners where it's quite long radius, and you've got to really just clip the curb. If you clip it a little bit too much, then you're going to go round. You need to put in a lot of laps around here, I think, in order to find that pace, and we're going to really see who's done that tonight.
Well, you say that, Sam, as well. The thing is, around Sebring, there are actually quite a few overtaking opportunities around here, which is a bit unique for circuits. Normally there's, 1, 2, but around here there's probably about 3 or 4 different places you can have a good go at your opponents. And it's not like they're just at the start of the circuit or towards the end of the circuit. They're scattered around different parts of the track.
Yeah, there's nowhere obvious, I would say, to overtake, but there's a lot of half overtaking opportunities that you can make into the hairpin, into Sunset Bend, into turn 1, even turn 2, all opportunities in order to make that overtake. But sometimes we do see drivers get stuck behind others, so I think it is a fairly important qualifying session this for the drivers. Of course, 1 hour race that we're going to have tonight, but it's not necessarily going to be enough time to make your way up through that order. So this is a nice race circuit. It's not an easy to overtake circuit like Daytona, but it is possible, and you have to get creative at times.
Well, you do indeed. Well, you mentioned your favourite circuit there, Sam, Daytona. So Sam's alluded to, of course, format for this evening. Of course, qualifying, that's not too far away from getting started, but of course it's the A format tonight. 1 hour race. And well, Sam, pit stops will be required as always. It makes things a little bit easier as well. We were talking about this before the show in terms of us calculating the points. Now, we're in a bit of a unique position here, aren't we? Where coming into the final round for the championship overall, so regardless of category, we've got a Pro-Am leading.
Yes. I think across the season, no one's had a good season. And everyone's had problems throughout. Mitchell Drysdale has been able to take advantage of that. Even Drysdale has missed a round of the championship and got wiped out at 1 or 2 rounds into Lagos, comes to mind, for example. And yet he has been able to get to the title. He's at 958. However, top of the pros, so we can see up on screen, is Oscar Pye, 949. However, he hasn't been at the past 2 rounds. Real life kart racer is Oscar Pye, and so he's had to deal with that as well. And it's really allowed, from looking like an unassailable position, he's been caught. And we've got the likes of Dode Tricoli, who's yet to win a round so far this season, and Matteo Fellini, who's only won 1 round this season. And Fellini's had a real mare of a second half of the season as well. Suzuka, he's really struggled, and yet those two are still in play. So it's been fantastic. This is what we want to see in a championship, honestly. So I'm sure it's nice to see 2 drivers at the top of their game, 1 point between them at each round. I prefer these ones where it's up and down, you don't know what's going to happen next, and we have a lot of drivers in play at the end of the season.
And do you know what amazes me about the Pro Championship as well, Sam, is that if you think of the names that have had, eventful races, put on, exciting, led a lot of laps, your likes of Olsen, Arvidsson, Lang, Dames,
Schwartz.
Yeah, I mean, it's only realistic, none of them are in that top 3. None of them whatsoever. And Simray Sweden of Mattis Martinsson, Isaac Arvidsson and Tobias Olsen were just dominant. I mean, the fact that Mattias Martinsson was the weaker, shall we say, of the 3 in terms of results, I mean, he was still up inside that top 6, and it's still falling apart for him.
Yeah, they had a bit of a tricky middle part of the season, didn't they? Took some car change penalties as well, which has cost them a bit. But Stuart Arvidsson with 3 wins in the last 5 races, and nearly won a race as well last time out. So I think he'll be strong to the end of the season. And in the Pro-Ams, like we were talking about before, Mitchell Drysdale on a superb points tally. He's actually top of the drivers overall and you can see he's not going to be caught by Andrea Nutini there. Thomas Yaz in third position. Still prizes for the top 3 in class, so your tortoise could catch up to Yaz by the end of this meeting, so it is some importance in that one. But Drysdale, sure, he's in the pro-ams, but he also, well, at least we would like to see him really take it to the pro drives as well. And in the AMS, it's been fairly comfortable for Salvatore Piazzese so far this season. It looks like he is going to be able to take the title despite a very good run for Jeremy De Boy. Unfortunately, he missed the first third of the season, and so he's had a lot of catching up to do. So unless something radical happens at the final round with a decent points tie for Piazzese last week, he's put himself into a winning position.
Yeah, it's been a bit topsy-turvy, hasn't it, that side of the of the championship, where I mean, it's looked like Piazzese, as you say, it's Jeremy De Boy. If we'd had him for more of the season, do have to wonder what would have happened, really. I think that would have been the opposite. I mean, you never quite know, do you, really? But they've both been the sort of the main protagonists in this season. Let's take a look across to the teams. Well, up until the halfway mark, it was SimRace Sweden Esports who led the way, as we're sort of talking about earlier on. However, due to a string of bad results and a couple of no-shows, they fell. In fact, they fell outside the top 3, as far down as 6th. They've recovered that, but since that point, Race Anywhere SimSport have taken the bull by the scruff of the neck, well, bull by the horns, and well, they're just taking control of that championship and started to hit a bit of consistency and a bit of form, whereas before, and especially the first half of the season, they'd struggled a little bit with that. Yeah,
it'd be odd if we saw the team's champion have none of their 3 drivers in the top 4 in the overall points. It'd be a bit of a strange one, but Dames has been very good for missed a couple too many rounds. Lang has just been having issues at the start of pretty much every single race, it feels like, this season. Schwartz has put in a couple of mistakes when he really couldn't afford them. But overall, when you got that drop driver at each round, Race Anywhere have done enough to be able to take the team's championship. They're not going to be caught, so congratulations to them. It's all about the drivers' championship. Tim, I'm so looking forward. None of them have any pit lane starts to serve, so they're all going to be out on circuit. If Pi wins, he wins the championship, and he's got to be the favourite. I said this at the end of last week. I know that Arvidsson is in good form. Fulini seems to have taken a step up. Paul Lang seems to be back at his best as well. But Oscar Pai, the guy has a lot of talent, and we've seen him win races seemingly casually driving out there. He's got to be my favourite tonight, and he's got to be my favourite to take the title as well.
Oh, have you put the cursed commentator onto him, Sam? Wow. Well, not too far away from finding out. Qualifying just getting underway in the background. You see that going on, all the drivers out on track. Before we head across there though, Sam, I mean, you've said about Oscar Pai being your favourite for the champion in pro. Overall, do you think he can outperform Mitchell Drysdale?
I think so. I think Drysdale is sort of the known quantity, I think, out there. We know that Drysdale is going to do solidly well, but probably not going to have that absolute pace. I mean, he hasn't taken a pole position, for example, so far this season. He's only taken 1 race win, and that was in a reverse grid. Dracoli as well, to be fair, is sort of in the same vein. Fulini and Pai, I think, are the questionable ones, where sometimes they've been really quick, sometimes not so quick. So I still think Pai will win this race, and that will guarantee the overall title for him. But I mean, what are you saying? Do you think Drysdale's actually going to do it? Because I mean, the gap's only 9 points.
It is, Sam.
He doesn't need to do a whole lot, does Pai?
No, he doesn't. But I think it's just my, you know me. I love a good underdog story, and this it's right for the taking. As you say, it's that unknown quantity with Pai. He's either box office or I can't try to think of something polar opposite without sounding derogatory to him, because he's an epically quick driver, and you can see why he's teamed up with Porsche Coanda in their junior team, because the kid's got a lot of talent. And it's sickening, it's 13, 14-year-old is far quicker than a grumpy old man like myself. But that's why I do the commentary rather than the driving. But yeah, it's fascinating to watch this battle. And I mean, we know Drysdale, he'll play it safe, he'll play the numbers game, whereas Pai loves a good dogfight, he loves a good scrap. But equally, if he can get out in front, I know we've seen him, I imagine he'll probably just clear off into the distance. He will be putting in a lot of practice, probably, starting around, obviously Sebring, 12 hour on iRacing is not too far away, is it, Sam? So you don't quite know, do you? You don't quite know, but I think it's going to be close. I'm not sure he'll win. I think there'll be others to get to the fight to him.
Okay. Well, I've taken a big call there in terms of backing out or making a genuine decision.
The fence I'm seeing is incredibly comfy.
Let us know who you think is going to win the title, and we'll keep you up to date with the championship standings. Of course, it's a four-way fight realistically for the title. Drysdale leading the way, then it's Pai, then it's Chicoli, then it is Fulini. But shall we go see what the standings are in qualifying? The ever so important qualifying before the final race of the season.
It is. Should we get things underway? Right, we're going to head to a quick break now. We will see you on the other side, where we'll be live for the remainder of qualifying and, of course, the 1 hour race ahead of us today. We'll see you shortly. Hello and welcome back. Qualifying. Well, we're approximately about halfway through right now. Oh, wow. It's incredibly tight at the top. And definitely some topsy-turvy results happening right now, Sam. Well, preliminary results. Preliminary results. Still everything to play for. You know, we've still plenty of time left on the clock here. However, I think it's game on for that fight overall, because you were saying, you know, Pai being near the top, he's still got plenty of chance to improve. He's only starting 2 places in front of Drysdale, which is throwing an extra conundrum into the melting pot of how this might pan out. But, I mean, consistency from Race Anywhere Sim Sport. 2 drivers looking out the front row and only 6,000ths of a second between them, Sam. 6,000ths of a second.
Yeah, it's fairly close out there. Our championship rivals are all doing quite poorly. We've got Pai in 9th, Fulini in 10th, Drysdale in 11th, and Chicoli in the pits in 16th. 16th for the man who is 3rd place in the championship and has been scoring top 5s like they're nothing for the second half of the season.
Sam, Frederick Swartz. So his teammates are topping. So they've actually just swapped around. In fact, Dames has just gone faster by 800ths of a second than Lang. However, the teammate Frederick Swartz, who's, you know, normally you expect to see him somewhere maybe 6th, 7th at worst. He's languishing all the way down in 27th right now. Florian Renault, he's struggling in qualifying too. He's, what, nearly 9 seconds off the pace. Dirk Bouts, he's been incredibly quick in the latter half of the season. The Pro-Am driver, he's 29th. Yet to set times are Pierre Zeze, Tobias Olsen, and I tell you what, James Hall, who we've seen some cracking racing from him this season. Won't ever forget, of course, Daytona, where he just put in a exhilarating performance. Everyone else is fuel saving. He said, nope, I'm not bothering with any of that, and just went hell for leather. And, well, he was up and down, roundabouts like a yo-yo, but there we go, Fabian Renault improving. He's climbed all the way up into 12th overall, still 9th in class. I don't know where you expect him, but Salvatore Trani, Pro-Am, leading the way, and I tell you what, he's 5th, 3rd row of the grid, in front of some big names there in the form of Arvidsson and Pai and Fellini.
Yeah, and even like Nutini has been one of the strongest Pro-Ams so far this season. So yeah, really good effort there from Salvatore Trani, absolute motorsport ace list. Up there in the standings, 3/10 off the pace. Vendazzo as well, I think that's his best qualifying performance so far this season as well. So yeah, maybe the most mixed up grid we've seen so far this season. Dame's still up on top. Dame's 3-time race winner so far this season, but all of them have maybe had a little bit of a question mark next to them, because 2 of them were reverse grid race victories and one of them was at Indianapolis, and anyone who saw that will know what I'm referencing to, because there was a change of position right at the close. Hardesty Tortoise across the line. He moves up into 4th in class, but 13th place overall. Tortoise very strong last time out, was running up in 4th place for much of race 1. Had a couple of decent results in the end, but a little bit further down than what he would have been expecting as we get into the final 3 minutes of qualifying.
It's definitely closing out right now, so you're right on board with Trani, heading through Sunset. What's it going to be when he comes across the line?
I think this is a warm-up.
I think you are spot on there, Sam. Here we go. And so on. Will he be distracted by those 2 cars coming out of the pits? Get as close to the wall as you like. He's just dropped a place. Venditti's gone faster than him by 0.02 of a second. Incredibly close times right now. Bumbling across the curves. Launching that Lamborghini Huracan GT3 over there. Somewhere off on the wall on the left-hand side there. It may have been Randazzo. Now into the big braking zone. Is it going to be his lazy day? Is he going to be consistent? Got that one lined up nicely. Slight little lock up there. I think that's.
He's pushing off track.
You can tell, yeah. The way of really fighting the steering.
Yeah, he picks it up.
It's game over for that lap. He's got. Ooh, it's close. I don't know whether he's going to. He'll need to get a wiggle on if he gets. No, I think he's got out of the car. I think that's him done and dusted for his qualifying session.
Oscar Pai recently starting a lap. I'm keeping an eye on what his first sector time is. It's a 13.04, which is good, but it's not a personal best from what I'm seeing.
What you I was saying about Schwartz and being critical of his qualifying time, Sam, and sneakily, well, we were looking at that lap there from Trani. Schwartz is, just gone and stuck it casually on the front row grid, second place, displacing Lang, who was our initial pace setter. Lang's just gone out to try and, well, remedy that one, but Race Anywhere Sport, the top 3, well, in the team's championships, locking out the first 3 grid slot with very consistent times as well. It's almost like they've been practicing with one another.
Yeah, this is, well, we were talking about last time out, SimRace Sweden becoming the first team in the series to have all 3 of their drivers win a race. Well, Race Anywhere have got the potential to that if this man, Paul Lang, wins a race. But dare I say, looking at the front 3 positions in qualifying is even more impressive. And by the margin that they've done it as well, 0.2 of a second between 3rd and 4th. Maybe we're just going to see them have a race of their own, albeit Lang is not going to be able to improve on this last lap. Oscar Pai is flying around though. He's just set a really good Sector 5, the purple Sector 5. This doesn't necessarily need to be right at the front, but with his rivals not doing particularly well, Fellini only down in 12th position, and with Drysdale
in 4th.
Drysdale up in 4th, to be fair. So yeah, Pai does really sort of need to get up there in order to have a good chance at this.
Well, let's find out, Sam. The perennial bumps. This is scrambling for a bit of traction there, a bit of grip. Heading through Sunset, here we go. Is it going to be an improvement, Sam? There you go. Moves up to 4th.
1,000.
Wow, that is how close those two are.
100, so apologies. No, it was 1,000, wasn't it? It was 1,000.
Don't doubt yourself, Sam. Wow. And also, crucially, that demotes Drysdale down a row. He will start on the 3rd row of the grid. I've just we've got David Sampson's stream on behind us, and he's looking, well, I don't look like he was too happy with his qualifying from what I saw casually. But let's go through your grid. So, Will Dames, he starts on pole with Frederick Schwartz alongside him, his teammates. Then it's Lang to make it a 1-2-3 in qualifying for Race Anywhere Simsport. Lang's got Pi alongside him. Drysdale again. Well, I may as well be on repeat saying this top qualifier in Pro-Am. He's got Matthias Martinson alongside him. Row 4 is Sampson and Venditti. Salvatore Trane, he's got Isaac Arvidsson for company, and ran it on row 5 to run out your top 10. Randazzo and Fellini. Row 6, row 7 is Yaz and your Tortoise with Florian Renault. Starting like alongside Panini. Tommy Molyard, he's got Bisaglia next to him on row 9 with Tricoli. Disappointed in qualifying. He starts alongside, well, sister teammate, the Teeny, has ran out your top 20. That's Jeremy Treboyva, your top qualifier in AM. He's got Rigi alongside him for an all-AM row. Likewise, Zanon and Gasparini, another all-AM row to make up row 12. Moving through row 13 is Gustarenken with Thomas Burnt. Pedro has got Peter Lemkins with Dirk Boutz, and Paul Collishaw making it row 15 on your top 30. Tobias Olsen did not set a time. Likewise, neither did Salvatore Piazzese, neither did James Hall. On Paul Joseph clears to round out your 34 car grid here for the final race of the season. From Sebring in Florida, as everyone takes to the grid behind the Porsche 911 safety car. Of course, a nice short start here, Sam, so we can dive straight into the action, because I know what I want this one to get going. I want to find out who's going to become our new reigning champion.
Yes, well, to be taking over the mantle from Gustave Herbigno, who of course took the start of the season. Unfortunately, haven't seen him in the second half of the championship, but yeah, whoever wins this, it will be a taxing win, undoubtedly, and one they'll be very happy to take, because it's not been an easy season for anyone. But we are going to find out in about 60 minutes time who the champion in the Apex Racing League GT3 Trophy Season 5 is going to be.
Wow. Safety car pulls in. Dames controls the pace. Let's get ready for an hour of racing as we are green and we are away at Sebring in round 12 of the ARL GT3 Trophy. And look at that, the three green Lamborghinis of Race Anywhere Sims will lead the way, locking that one out. Pi remains in fourth. Venditti, he's ahead of Drysdale as sort of a couple of connection issues in the background there. But what can Drysdale do? It needs to stay in tow with Pi if he wants to stand a chance of taking the total overall and beating all of the pro drivers. Venditti, he's had a cracking start. He's already at 3 places as Brent is losing quite a few places. Not what they would have had. Clist, he's had a cracking start. He's at 5 places already.
I saw Fulini under big pressure there from Rendazzo, I think, going into the hairpin. I think he was able to hold on in 11th place, but it was getting very tight as the drivers concertinaed into there. And Fulini still fighting this one, trying to just hold on to 11th position. Or try to make this move stick, I should say, on Randazzo. But here comes Randazzo, excellent qualifying performance for him. He is able to stay ahead and behind them. That was Tricoli making his way up through the order. Tricoli 3rd place in the championship with a small chance at the title, and he's up into 13th place now behind 4th place in the championship.
Relatively clean start here. It's only Toss Bant that's had an issue. He has kept the car going. Still yet to complete 1 lap here, and quite a few people knowing what's on the line. As mentioned earlier, Tricoli, your biggest place gamer, he's already at 6 places into 13th. Likewise, Plist, he's made a good start at 5, and at 3 is Venditti. Also at 3 are Lemkins and Hall. Keep half an eye on Hall, because he's normally known to be more aggressive and definitely willing to try and attempt to pass more than anyone else. But as we come across the line, Dames leads from Schwartz, Lang, Pi, Venditti. That's your leader in Pro-Am, and, well, like this with Pi, chance of the championship overall is Drysdale, Martinson, Sampson, Arvidsson, who've just swapped places, those two. Arvidsson up into 8th, Trani running out your top 10, and he's 2nd in Pro-Am. Randazzo, which I think that'll be his first podium in Pro-Am this season, Sam. He finishes there currently. Then we've got
Boiva, Zanon and Gasparini, who are all lined up alongside each other, 20th, 21st and 22nd, respectively, in the AM category. Podium right now. It's largely being helped by Rigi, who obviously had that issue earlier on, has dropped 7 places in class, all the way down to 9th in class and 32nd overall. But James.
And you were saying how Chicoli got a very good start up to 6th place. I think, dare I say, Chicoli might be the best race starter this season. We've seen him on multiple occasions, very few changes in the top 15. Then you see Chicoli, he's up 3-4, and of course he's really gone on the hyperdrive tonight with that 6th place has gained up into 10th place in class and 13th place overall. But him and Fuli failing to make much pressure at the moment, not even keeping tabs with Randazzo. That fantastic round for Fulini, which really was a very different to the other rounds, because generally he has been sort of in this position, Fulini, sort of 5th to 12th, somewhere in there. Yeah, that Suzuka man, he was absolutely the fastest of everyone. Took pole position, took the race 1 victory, took 3rd place in victory. And Venditti, who was very close to the back of Pi, has made a mistake, probably got a slowdown, I imagine, Tim.
Well, he's pulled across to the right there, Sam. That normally indicates a slowdown.
Oh, can Samson get past him? He's going to have to go the long way round. Venditti serving it tactically there, and I think he has now served it for Samson onto the bumps that he's not so familiar with, and Samson is at threat of losing another position this time to Salvatore Trani.
Tactical moves there by Venditti. However, what that does now mean, Sam, albeit, you know, he's right on the cusp of slipping out of the draft range. High and Drysdale in the 4th and 5th. You're going to have to get your abacus out to keep us up to date with how this is currently panning out.
At the moment, it would be Drysdale winning the championship by 5 points if it ended like this. But all it would take is Pi to gain 1 place, as Samson's gone wide, and that is another place gained there for Trani. And Vendazzo will have a very good chance heading into the hairpin.
Oh, Martinson's passed Drysdale, Sam.
He has.
That's not helping things right now. Samson trying to, well, keep hold of that top 10 spot. Randazzo really desperate. You see the flash of the lights in the background there. Clearly highly impressed by Samson being in 10th. So he just wanted to flash his lights to communicate his exuberance for it, or something like that. Anyway, let's take a look at the replay we've got coming for you here. So there is Drysdale being followed by Matthias Martinson, and, well, I get the feeling, Sam, that this is going to be a little up the inside, oh no, round the outside, and Drysdale almost is just yielding that place.
Drysdale's a very passive driver. He's spoken about this multiple times when we've done post-race interviews with him. His mentality is always, I'll gain places when other people crash, but I'm not going to necessarily do it on circuit, but that's taking it to another level. And that means that in the championship now, and this is very early stage, it's not particularly relevant, he would win the championship by 1 point. But we've got a long way to go in this race. But if it all ended right now, stop the count, then he would be in a very good place, as this is incredibly close. And everyone is queuing up behind David Sampson. We got that negative momentum, and that negative momentum is just
Panini's dropping like a stone. Something has happened to the Italian in...
Is that a connection issue maybe for Panini? Nothing coming up in our event view, so I think that's a connection thing.
I don't believe they reappeared by now. Well, keep half an eye on that. I tell you what, Tobias Olsen, he was a bit slow to get going. He started from the pit, Sam, and he was well off the back of the field. However, he's got a right on Rigalon, and he's currently climbed himself up to 31st at 4 places, having to catch up with the back of the pack on top of that. He's wanting to keep half an eye on and see where he comes.
I've been some past, so this would mean Pi is now in championship winning position. Drysdale falling back. The Simray Sweden guys, underwhelming qualifying, particularly for Arvidsson, who has across the season maybe even been the best qualifier in the entire field. He really has been on it. Very poor qualifying for him tonight, only 10th place on the grid, being out qualified for Martinson for what I feel like is the first time this season. But he's starting to show that Porsche pace. And, well, they might start coming after Pi soon, but right now, Drysdale is not doing enough to win the overall title.
And also, he's got Venditti hot in his heels. After Venditti had that slowdown, lost a lot of places on the bit of a recovery drive, and Drysdale just, at the moment, just biding his time. Is out in front. Dame starting to open up in a bit of a gap. 0.7 seconds to his teammate Schwartz. Then it's Lang. Well, free Race Anywhere Sim Sports cars locking out the top 3. So will it be our first top 3 lockout?
Oh, sure.
This season, however. I'm trying to think of ever possibly, Sam.
Yeah, I feel like the only team who maybe could do it was like Core Sim Racing, perhaps. They're the only team who have really had the dominance in the past, but I seriously doubt that they have with the likes of Styx and Newman and co. Hope to see them back in the championship next season. Of course, they are currently doing very well in the ARL Prototypes Championship in the LMDH class, so not going to be desperate. Drysdale, he is looking a little bit more interested in holding on to this position. He's been waving everyone past so far, but that time he was going offline to hold on to the place at turn 1. So I think he's going to hand this one to Venditti, who, remember, had a slowdown earlier on and was ahead. So Venditti, I think, is fast enough to really be ahead of Martinson and Arvidsson, but he made that mistake and now he's got to recover it on track. Here he goes.
On the inside, like you say, Drysdale not giving this one up anywhere as easy as what he allowed. The Swedes for Martinson and Arvidsson. Drysdale really fighting deeply for this one. Venditti hot on his heels, tucked up right underneath his rear wing, has another look up the inside, and I think this could be the move done. Drysdale looking for the cutback, driving that Ferrari right out of the corner, but blocked by Venditti of Wave Italy and their junior team. Nicolo Venditti holds on to that 7th place after taking it from Drysdale. I mean, the only thing I could think of, Drysdale was thinking, you know, let Martinson and Arvidsson go. Let them get after Pi. I haven't got the pace to catch him. Let them go after him. Just let them attack them and see what comes of it.
I think that's a good tactic, honestly. I mean, I don't like to bring it up, but when I won the BSR Radical Winter Series...
Did you, Sam? I never knew that.
Genuinely, this is half relevant. I remember not being fast enough to win a race and just saying, well, you know what, I'm in 3rd position. I'm just going to let this guy who's very quick in 4th go past me and hope that he plays bowling with a couple of cars ahead and I miraculously win a race. I didn't win that race. I was going to lose the place anyway. So I think it was a good decision there. But I'm surprised he didn't let Venditti pass, because I think Venditti's faster than either of the Sim Race Sweden drivers. And I think Arvidsson and Martin are soon going to swap over positions. We saw this in race 2 at Suzuka. Of course, at race 2 at Suzuka, Arvidsson got ahead and then he spun out from the lead and Martin went on to win the race. But at least before that, they did switch positions because Arvidsson, most of the time, is faster. But considering that Arvidsson beat Martinson by 40 seconds just 2 weeks ago at Manucore, this is an upturn in form for Martinson. I really hope he keeps this up because he has been so much improved from Suzuka and into Sebring.
Just looking at lap time, Sam, and our top 4 who have broken away. Just last time around, they were roughly about, well, if you go on their slowest time, which was 1:59.29, that was 7/10 quicker than Martinson and 3/10 quicker than Arvidsson. So they're really, really pulling away right now. Oh, Venditti is definitely past Drysdale. Just looking a bit further down the field, Roiva, Zadon and Gasparini still making a podium in AM. 19th, 20th and 21st. P. Lemkins has had an issue somewhere out on track. Hall continues to come through the pack. He's up to 26th. Olsen has just climbed another place. He's now up into 27th at 4 places. We have the race to go, and also not too far from breaking onto the timing tower, Sam. And obviously those places only go to show us as far down as 25th in its current view.
Oh, as Arvidsson has got past Martinson, but that is teammates switching round, so not too competitive there. I think Pi's in a good position here, and if anything, it might be Danes in the worst position because you're going to have the draft effect. So these guys being dragged along currently with less air resistance will be able to use less fuel, might be able to go a lap further in terms of the pit stops. As we've moved through the season though, the field has just got so competitive. And I think everyone's just improved on their pace, and it means that there's really not much threat of anyone being a lap down right now. The leaders is only less than 40 seconds clear of final position 12 minutes into this race, and considering that you have a huge field spread right from the gate, considering that Olsen was half a minute down before we pretty much even got to turn 1, it is that's not going to be too much of a factor. So I think the drivers are going to be free to run as far as they want in this stint, and so if you can save a lap of fuel, then that extra lap when you're on low fuel and your rivals are on much higher fuel is going to be a big advantage. Reminder, Jeremy De Bruyne though, but leading the amateur drivers ahead of Zanon and Gasparini, those in 19th, 20th and 21st, but we're currently watching Samson continue to hold back Fulini, who yeah, you can see this championship slip away from him, just like it did a couple of years ago in the GTE championship.
Worth noting as well, you can just about see him in the background there, is that Tortoise has just been quietly chipping away at things. He's now up to 13th overall and moved up to 3rd in Pro-Am. Gonzazo has dropped down at his exchange of places there. He's down to 15th overall. Now, as they head down the back straight, Norman straight, line astern for Race Anywhere Sim Sports. It's working together, and fortunately though for them, is they're bringing Pi along for the ride. Working in flying formation, these 3 Lamborghini Huracan GT3s. See in the back of there, Arvidsson really pushing it, squeezing his car up against the wall. Likewise with Martinson too. The DT's close up a little bit of a gap. Drysdale doesn't have the protection of teammate behind us. We see some replays of the start of the race. And this is where it all happened. Start well.
Yes, that was the brave move.
That was
on your Tortoise from was that Chacoli? Yeah, moving up the inside. And then here was Arvidsson moving past Samson through turn 1, and almost being able to follow through there was Venditti, but Venditti made that move eventually anyway, and then Samson went off the circuits, and Venditti did make that move, albeit Venditti's slowdown a few moments later did not help him out.
It's a shame because Samson was looking strong in qualifying, and there's Drysdale just letting past Olsen. No, sorry, apologies, not Olsen, Martinson. Arvidsson coming straight past immediately. Just, like say just conceded those places. Maybe a little bit too easy than what he would have expected, or well, what we certainly expected him to do. Also, this group of 4 at the front continue to pull away ever so slightly. Well, compared to Martinson they do. Isaac Arvidsson is catching them, but not... Well, he's still got a good chunk of the race to go. 45 minutes left of race time in his final race of the season. However, it is an uphill struggle. 2.8 seconds. Well, I say that. Make that 2.6 seconds. He's starting to get that Porsche into a real nice operating window now, and he is coming over them, and he's charging hard, but he's not able to bring anyone with them. He's doing this all by himself.
I would say, if someone's just tuning into this race, 2 things. One, you're going to be really confused. Why on earth are none of the Race Anywhere Sim Sport drivers fighting for the title? Because they look really fast. And 2, this is quite a dull race. However, I'm liking this right now. This reminds me of Formula 1, which is quite a dull motorsport. And I think this is just touting up at the moment to be very interesting. As Venero and Mendazze have had an issue, sure we'll get a replay of that at some point. But it's sort of just, everyone's very competitive, but no one's quite fast enough to overtake one another. And therefore, I think this one is just, you know, it's just simming away nicely. And I think just a small mistake from one of these guys could make a difference. I think they're going to stay closer all the way to the line. I think the pit stops are going to be very influential. And we've got this title fight as well, which has not been decided one way or another so far, as Venditti and Martinson are fighting very hard. Venditti initially managed to make his way past, but I think he ran wide, and he's back down to 7th place. And now Mitchell Drysdale is very close behind, and that's about to go 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Close right now, Sam. And also, I tell you what, who's going quick is Ivic Arvidsson at the fastest Sector 1 of anyone. Of course, there's 7 sectors here on iRacing at Sebring.
This is one of the early circuits.
It is.
As time has gone by, iRacing sectors have decreased. I'm sure there's some sort of formula to be made.
There is. Hence why you have. I'm trying to think how many areas at the Nordschleife. I think it's something like about
16.
No, I'm sure it's more than that. I could be wrong. Answers on a postcard, please. Everyone watching along at home. So you can see Fellini all over the back of Samson. This is your battle for 10th place right now. So your drivers are going to be a little bit out of position. So you ride on board with the Italian Fellini of DRS Esports. I'll tell you what, Olsen, I was about to say he just crept on to the timing tower at 25th. Scrap that, he's already up to 23rd. The recovering Swede, he's having a whale of a time. Well, he's going to go out with a bang. He also do it with great fun. So 18 minutes complete run. Ooh, Randazzo, incredibly early pit there, Sam. Incredibly early.
Yeah, he's not going to get to the end of the race, I think, from here. Oh, as Pye's very close now. Allowing time to brake so early in order not to run to the back of his teammate. Pye, as Venditti has now got past Martinson, so Venditti couldn't make the move stick on Martinson on that last lap. They both lost a bunch of time, but he has now been able to make it. As here comes Pye, he's looking to the inside. Lang tries to cover it off. Pye's going to force his way past, too strong on the brakes, and Oscar Pye breaks up the race anywhere dominance and is up into the rostrum places. He was already in a championship winning place with Drysdale dropping as low as 8th position. But Pye only strengthening that place now, and he wants this final race win of the season if he can possibly get it.
As you say, something been broken up, the trio. What sort of pace has Lang got up his sleeve to get past Pye? Don't discredit Isaac Arvidsson, who is coming for them. Just literally missing like the jaws making the so he's catching them, and I mean, everyone behind you sees just having a bit of a snake around trying to break the draft. That is the Venditti, Martinson, Drysdale and Trani battle that's currently ensuing, and definitely intensifying and heating up here as we head through Sunset Bend. We run down to turn 1. It's amazing, just in this short time since clearing them, just how much Arvidsson has I managed to clear what was Martinson, is effectively he's now Venditti.
Fellini is past Samson now, so Fellini has made that move. It looked like Samson didn't fight it too much, albeit on the corner exit. No, he's not fought forward too much, so Fellini finally passed. Their pace hasn't been bad, to be fair, these two. They haven't been losing much to the race leaders since Samson sort of got out to that very negative cycle that he was in earlier on, where he made a couple of mistakes. It was for Fellini. Yeah, Samson just turning out of the corner, realising that he wasn't going to win out on that one. Samson, very consistent driver, not just in this race, but also the Apex Racing League Prototype Championship, which has entries reopened for the remainder of the season. So, break week next week, if you want to register for the 5 consecutive weeks we have in store to end the season in that. To check out apexracingleague.com. Both LMDH and LMP2 cars available to sign up in that series.
They had some cracking racing as well so far this season, Sam.
Really good. Every round's been absolutely fantastic. And of course, we've also got a couple of other championships as well. The Apex Racing Academy Formula 4 Championship, only 1 round completed in that. Second round coming up tomorrow. And then 2 series which are kicking off next week. Well, 1 series which is kicking off next week. Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup. 8 rounds of that coming up. And then the week after that, which will also be on a Friday night, is the Apex Racing League Clio Cup as well. That's going to be a lot of fun. Already a fair few sign-ups for that. You can sign up to all those championships and find more details about each of them by visiting apexracingleague.com. There's a link in the description below.
Confused me a bit there. You said I thought you said Formula Ford, and I was like, I should just come out, Sam. I'm already be on the second week of the championship. Formula 4.
The Clio's only just come out, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So we are on it here at Apex Racing League.
Definitely are indeed. See he's on it. This front 3 have not missed a beat since the start of the race. Nose to tail. Largely the Race Anywhere SimSport guys have been working together until Pi decided to come on and, well, disrupt the party. We were feeling left out in fourth, wanting to get into the middle of things. As we head down towards the chicane, hard onto the brakes. Too far back is Pi to have a bit of a look, but needs to be careful because Lang's going to want that placement. He wants to have the 1, 2, 3 finisher, one race anywhere, sim sport. Hands down, just not wanting that muddles and muddy waters from Oscar Pi being up there. But again, we keep saying about it. Just what can then so Arvidsson even do from here.
I don't want to pay too much attention to it because I got really annoyed with the whole Perez-Leclerc thing last season in Formula 1. They're about to leave second place in the championship. However, it is quite interesting right now because if it ended like now, Fulini with 2 places clear of Ciccoli, they would actually be level on points for second place in the Pro Championship. However, Fulini would take it on countback because he's won 1 race to Ciccoli's 0 race wins. So that's something that's going on a bit, but right now this man, Oscar Pi, would win both the Pro and the overall titles if the race ended like this. The leader's pace just dropping off a little bit, Will Dames. He's into the mid-59s. We wait to see what this lap time is going to be. This is part of the reason why Pi is sort of making his way through, because the pace has just dropped off by about 0.3 of a second or so. In fact, 0.6 of a second slower on that last lap compared to Dame's best lap. Let's see what it is this time. It's another 59.5, so very consistent times. And this is allowing Arvidsson as well to gain time. Arvidsson in the 50s. Ooh, what happened there? Pi ran wide. I sort of looked away. I was too busy looking at random numbers. And we have got the top 3 back race anywhere sim sports. Pi down to 4th, and Arvidsson basically now making it a top 5.
He's right onto the back of him, isn't he? There's some 7 attempts between Pi and Arvidsson. Just a meager 7 attempts. Basically, we're already on minute 24 out of 60. The one I marked close the season here. That's Sebring. What's home to the 12 hours of Sebring, and of course now the 1,000 kilometres, which is the World Endurance Championship race. They've held it annually.
Just looking at that incident as well for Pi, who just ran wide at turn 1, looked like there was a nudge from Lang. Completely accidental from Lang. He wasn't going for a move. Pi was just very early in the race, maybe even lifting and coasting into the corner. And and Lang hit the back of him. So feeling like not feeling guilty enough to give up the place there, Lang. But if Pi is aggrieved by that, you may be reporting that. But well, that's the dangerous position because a little bit more, 10% more contact there, and maybe Pi would have been round into the wall and championship over. It's narrow margins.
It is. I just wish Drysdale could just pick up a few more places here, Sam.
The pace seems to be coming back to him. Remember, he was quite easily overtaken by Martinsson earlier on, but now he seems to have the
he's settled down into it,
advantage
hasn't
again.
he? It's definitely feeling more connected with the car. He's been our top Ferrari runner all season long. And you can understand why, with just the kind of performances that he's put in this evening. And we've seen that week in, week out, every single round. We run down into turn 1.
And the likes of Chani and Co are catching up to, well, Chani's catching up to these guys. Gap to Fulini and Samson sorts of maintaining. Ciccoli as well is there in 12th. Tortoise in 13th. Once again, it's all quite, all not really changing much. But everyone's just good. Everyone's just a good driver in the series. And considering how tricky a circuit this is, they're doing such a good job at not picking up the slowdowns, not running a wheel onto the grass and being dragged out off the circuit. Instead, they're just banging in these lap times very consistently and not giving a whole lot of weight right now.
So, getting some highlights here, Matia, very, very shortly. Going through them then. I mean, race anywhere. It's not so much of a draft track. Do you pit separately or all together here, Sam?
I think you just run as far as you possibly can on the fuel. It's theoretically the fastest way. They're not getting into any traffic. So I think they are just going to be pushing it as far as they possibly can. So wow! I sort of looked away in there. That was spectacular, wasn't it? That was some proper choreographed stuff there. This was nice as well from Pi because Lang squeezed him on the brakes, but Pi was having none of it. And that was Benditti passing Martin, so now it's his second attempt at the move. And then that was, I mean, there was barely any contact. Maybe it was a little bit of netcode, but they're both based in Europe. Yeah, that was a little bit of a strange one there.
It was.
I'm not 100% sure what happened. No,
I'm not 100% sure either. A little bit of a strange one. I'll tell you what I am sure of, because I'm seeing a lot of purple times being set right now.
I mean, this is spectacular. They're all of a sudden going a second a lap faster, these guys. Really impressive. I mean, they must have been sandbagging for a bit, because they dropped into the mid-59s, and now they're all in the mid-58s. Mighty stuff from Race Anywhere. They've just absolutely gone. It must have been fuel saving or something. Really interesting tactics for them to sandbag for a good 10 minutes of this race.
I'm trying to have a bit of a look through our event viewer here, Sam. Can't find anything in terms of Pi even just coming off the track or...
Yeah, but it's just the top three going faster. I mean, Pi's doing the same pace. Pi's going faster than he was before. It's just the top three have just gone into a different level.
Interesting. Definitely interesting. This team still setting the timing sheets alight. So we see Oscar Pi here, the only one out of our top three without a purple sector across the last few laps. Really, really telling right now as the Race Anywhere Sim Sport guys starting to pull away.
Chakotay still trying to do this one on Samson. We kind of spoke about it earlier on. There's a lot of half overtaking opportunities here at Sebring, but there isn't anywhere completely obvious. And Chakotay, I wonder, would exchange these all these half opportunities for just one good chance, one 800-meter long straight, in order to
just power
get
past
this move. Yeah.
Just no hanging around, no messing.
But this is what I like about Sebring. The fact that, yeah, you have got to be creative with a move. You can catch your opponent as well unaware. There's so many places where you can mug them. But yeah, there's no place where you can just wait behind for a lap and then pull the trigger. You constantly got to be looking out for where the opponent is a little bit slower. Even into the second part of Sunset Bend, you can sometimes get underneath of it. We haven't really seen that so far. That I think these GT3s are really stressing the tyres on the entry, so they're not able to take that alternative type line.
And I think an interesting point as well, Sam, on that is that it's with this new tyre model. It's, you know, there's different ways of bringing the tyres in, and it's, you know, we've seen already this season. Well, say this season, earlier this season, we had the new tyre model came in after, it was round 2, wasn't it? Such a long time ago. Yeah. It really has been the super season in terms of the amount of time this championship's been spread across, and you know, it's been interesting. You know, you have to look after the tyres so much more. It's like the old Porsche Cup tyres, is how it was described to me, as mollied into the pits, and it's all about preservation, looking after them. You know, too much out of them early on means that you then end up, you know, really battling, and it becomes a vicious circle where they just start you know, overheating, reduce grip, which then means you then tend to naturally overdrive the car because you don't want to lose any more places or times, which then means you overdrive the car more, which takes more out of the tyres. I'll tell you what, someone who's taken quite a bit out of the tyres, surely it's got to be Isaac Argson, fastest of anyone. Sector 1 at 5 places, now into 5th and catching only 8 attempts behind Oscar Pi. Sam, if Pi drops the place down into 5th because Isaac Argson has overtaken him, what does that mean for Drysdale? He's currently sitting in 8th.
Well, that would mean that Pi would score 102 points compared to Drysdale's 90 points. So Pi would still win the title, but 1 place higher for Drysdale, 1 place lower for Pi would be enough to swing it. As Dames and Lang into the pit. Schwartz with that draft being able to continue. Pi with that draft being able to continue. Vidson there, he was punching a hole in the air for much of the races. Very tight line there for Martinson. Drysdale able to do that extra lap. So Drysdale, this needs to be a very good lap in order to clear Martinson. This is absolutely huge because I'm not sure if Drysdale's going to be able to battle those top guys, but he should be able to get past 1 place, as Fulini also being able to continue. So Fulini was on the back of Trani, if I recall correctly, and he might be able to do something here. De Boiver and Zanon also being able to continue. I wonder if we could just get cameras on De Boiver, because he has been dominating this amateur race so far, and I also really like that livery because it's yellow, which
obvious for us commentators. It's what we like.
It's real nice, and it's got the Italian flag. Good livery. And a really good season as well from Jeremy De Boiver. Had a little bit of a mistake in race 2 at Suzuka, but bar that, for the past 2 months, he's been it's been a rarity to not see him at the top of the amp.
What has been fascinating for me, Sam, in this round of pit stop is that Schwartz did not come in with his teammates, Lang and Dames. And in fact, actually, Lang and Dames have swapped around, because Dames came in front.
Yeah, less fuel being taken for Lang by 2 seconds because because Dames has been punching that hole in the air for the entire race. Lang being able to save some fuel and has got ahead. So
I want to say the gap between Lang and Arvidsson, that has in fact grown. I want to say, Sam. I think that was down to around about it was 2.5 seconds between Pi and Lang, and then Arvidsson was about 8/10 behind him, so you took it about, call it 3.5 seconds for easy maths. Well, that's definitely increased right now. As PSA say, he's taken. Well, no, he started from the pit, so that's why his team.
Well, Bout started from the pit.
Schwartz and Pi, they are in. Drysdale in 2. Okay, right. It could be championship defining, what we're about to see. Certainly race defining. Keep half an eye on Lang and Dames. As we've got Schwartz, Pi, there's Drysdale, Fellini, you can just see behind Drysdale in, De Boiver in, Zanon in, Natini and Gasparini, one of only 2 cars not to pit. Where is Gasparini? He's just coming around to complete his lap. As there goes Lang through Sunset Bend. And Schwartz has got off the jacks. You see how much there that Lang is pushing. Pi has got off the jacks too. He's out on pit exit. How is this going to play out? Is Schwartz is going to take the lead, Sam?
Yeah, by a mile. Yeah, really good in-lap there for Frederick Schwartz, and Pi in a comfortable 3rd position as well ahead of Dames. So Pi is able to gain a place. Dames going from the lead to now 4 seconds behind, but that's just the lower fuel that Schwartz was able to take. Lang able to take a less fuel, and Pi as well, all 21 seconds. How much fuel did Drysdale take? Only 20.6. Drysdale took less fuel than anyone else, and he was able to get ahead of Martin, nearly got past Venditti as well. So really nice pit stop sequence there for Drysdale. And, well, if Pi had lost that position to Dames and Arvidsson, then he'd be in championship winning place. But still, it is still Pi with the advantage. But they're really close now, so Drysdale only 1.2 seconds behind Arvidsson. We have seen struggles with tyres a little bit so far this season. I wouldn't be shocked. Well, maybe Drysdale took tyres. I might go back and see on the jacks, if he was up on the jacks. Because it took 25 seconds worth, and that's pretty much tyres. So, I wonder if he took them.
I'm not sure, Sam. Not sure. I mean, Schwartz, I think the in-lap that he had was amazing. He's come out 2.3 seconds clear of Lang, and in doing so, he set the fastest Sector 4 of anyone, the fastest Sector 5 of anyone, and had a personal best in Sector 6. He was absolutely flying, and that's why he's 2.5 seconds clear of everyone else, despite, before the round of pit stops, being nose to tail with Lang, Pi, and Dames. What's the conclusion, Sam?
Okay, so Arvidsson did take tyres. Did other drivers take tyres? Maybe they all took tyres. Did Dames take tyres? Dames did not take... No, Dames did take tyres. Apologies.
Okay, so we've got that bit cleared up. I'll leave it with your capable hands to see exactly and use your concepts to find out what happened. With Drysdale was the other one, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think they all took tyres then.
Yeah,
I'm surprised how little time... Well, but then you can take a different amount of tyres, can't you? But unfortunately, we don't know that. There's no way of us telling... I guess we could look at how long you're on the jacks for. Maybe I'll go back and see that. But you can take 1 tyre, 2 tyres, 3 tyres, so I'm not entirely sure. But I don't think most of the drivers took all 4 tyres, because that does definitely take like 25, 26 seconds.
So you made a cracking pun then, Sam. You didn't even know it.
Oh, sorry.
You weren't entirely sure.
Hey, well done.
There you go.
That's you know what, Tim? As the season's gone on, I think they've become better.
Oh, thank you,
I
sir.
say.
Well, good news is that we're back in a week's time, obviously, after this championship concluding this evening. And we've got Porsche Cup coming up next week, and then 2 weeks' time, it's the double header of Porsche Cup and Clio Cup.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that one. Looking forward to that one.
Some
so
guys
much.
double dutying that as well. We got a couple of guys signing up for both, so good on them.
Brave, stupid,
Very
dedicated.
different racing, isn't it?
Incredibly.
The Clio Cup is fixed setup, to be fair, so you don't need to prepare so much for that one.
And new car, it's a bit more of a level playing field for everyone involved in that one. Really looking forward to it. I think we're going to have some epic racing in that one. Sam, I would love to join up to those championships, but I just don't know how to. How can I?
If you visit apexracingleague.com, then you can do. I also recommend checking out the Apex Racing League social media page as well, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and Apex Racing Team as well, because you can see updates and news from Apex Racing League on them. Dames is very quick. I think Dames would quite like to win this race. And first up, he needs to get past Pi, and this is dangerous for Pi.
Yes.
Because he sort of wants to keep Dames behind.
I need
And if
to.
he did, well, but if he did, he would still be in championship winning position, because he'd
true.
be getting 108 points to Drysdale's 94. So he'd win the championship by 5 points. But it'd be fairly close. He couldn't drop any further than that.
I'm not sure Dames can win in this. It's too far back. It's Venditti behind Arvidsson, incredibly close. It's Venditti. Okay, he's dropped back. Is he going to lose? Oh no, it's Arvidsson. Ooh. Whoa!
Still
Wow.
not able to quite get through as well.
I mean, good job he didn't push it, Sam, because the way Arvidsson was skipping and hopping. But I'll tell you what, I think he's trying to do the hop, skip, and jump. The triple jump there across the grass, because that was incredibly close. If he tries to be pushing his way through, I think he would have got collected there, because it looked as cool as it did look, and collected to an extent. It was looking from Arvidsson. I don't think he would have made it through there against Drysdale. But everything's calmed down. Venditti did get through. Just keeping an eye on what's happening elsewhere for you. So, Corby, he's only up 7 places, although he's qualified well down into 12. Olsen, of course, as I said, started from the pits and well behind everyone. Give everyone a head start. He's made his way up to 20th. He's on an incredible 11 places. Retirement so far, sadly, we have lost on lap 14. Paul Collishaw, we lost Randazzo on lap 9, likewise following Renault. Peter Lemkins, we lost in lap 8. We're currently on lap 20 of the race, 40 minutes complete out of the 1 hour, 20 minutes left of the season, Sam. Just 20 minutes left.
It's been really good, the fact that we got the majority of this race complete and still only in the top 10 separated by 18 seconds. And safe to say, we've and considering this is the final round, 12 rounds in, and we've still got such a competitive field, is absolutely spectacular. I think in round 1, I think we had the top 4 separated by 18 seconds come race end. I think tonight we're going to see the probably top 8 separated by that margin. So yeah, really great to see such competitive and so many drivers sticking with the series, and yeah, such high quality driving to round out the season. I've been trying to respond to Venditti. Shout out to one of our sponsors, Virtual Racing School. Of course, if you want to get faster in the next season of iRacing, do check out Virtual Racing School, providing setups and telemetry and data packs for a wide variety of cars. Pretty much any car on iRacing, and there's a decent chance they cover it. Over 50 of them covered by Virtual Racing School. You'll also provide excellent hardware as well, wheelbases, pedals, and soon to be wheel rims as well. Going to soon be available on the Virtual Racing School and Apex Racing Sim websites. So do keep tuned on that. But yeah, in the time being, may as well get yourself a pair of pedals or set of pedals. They are really not going to get a better quality for the price range that you are looking at for them. So do thoroughly recommend.
I would argue, as I have pedals from another manufacturer, are actually better than those that are of higher price points, or the ones that I have.
I think that's a very good shout. They are
Acceptable value for money.
And of course, being used as well for ESL R1.
Very
which
good.
Is
Wrapped
up earlier on.
Dames
As
passed by.
has got past. And as Dames gets past, Drysdale's looking to get past as well, and that would really change things. But Pye's getting back again against Dames, really fighting hard for that third position. Dames has been able to make it stick. And they're still going at it. And into the hairpin might be another opportunity for Oscar Pye. Now 4th and 6th. Sorry, 4th and 7th. So one place lost or one place gained for Drysdale would be enough for the title. As here comes Pye, he pulls out at the last moment. Will he be able to get that stopped? He got to the apex, but he ran wide on exit. And Dames is able to return the favour. As Arvidsson moves past Venditti, they're all in a big battle right now for that 5th place.
See, as much as Pye sent that, he's having another go here, Sam, on the brakes. Dames is no mug whatsoever. He knows this place like the back of his hand. And that's why he's able to cover off the advancing Frenchman. This is still not done as I think there's one more twist to the story to come out of Sebring, the final round, the Apex Racing League GT3 trophy. Here on Apex Racing TV. Dames 2 tenths ahead of Pye. Arvidsson and Venditti only 2 tenths separating them, but looming in the background for them is Mitchell Drysdale. He picks up 1 place, and wow, Pye, surely he's got to know he's in a bit of trouble. You can see him in the background there, Venditti. You see how hard he's pushing, kicking up some dust on corner exit there, coming out of Le Mans curve. But we focus on Pye, having a look. He has another push. He pushes out Dames wide. He's trying to find a way through on the inside, but look at how much Dames is clinging on for dear life right around the outside. Dames is going to have the inside though, coming into turn 1. Will he hold on to it? Will Pye get the move done? Pye opens up the corner, dramatic style, but Dames just covers off it once again. And this is an epic battle between these two. Being played out live, Pye lunges up the inside again. He slows it up on the apex, and that secures him 3rd as Venditti's past Arvidsson now for 5th.
Well, these guys are losing each other so much time that they're going to be under threat from the drives behind, losing 2 seconds a lap when they're fighting as hard as they are. Venditti finally being able to get back that position then after that iffy middle part of the lap last time round. They're still fighting in the background. Venditti going defensive against Arvidsson. Drysdale just watching this one. He's not getting involved. It's very much like what we've seen from Drysdale so far this season. Martinson trying to get in on the axe. Fulini a bit too far behind right now. Fulini about 5 seconds back. He hasn't had fantastic pace in the second half of this event, albeit is at least lapping a little bit faster than those drives right now, pulling along Trani as well with him. But yeah, I think Pye just needs to pick his battles a little bit more, a little bit better. Dames is undoubtedly going to have another go later on, so why not just wait behind Dames until the final 5 minutes or so and then launch an overtake? I think he's got enough pace to stay in the slipstream, but right now he's just risking too much, I think, and losing himself too much time as well.
Well, just getting a replay now of how this battle has been playing out. Undercuts, overcuts, left hooks, right hooks. It's had it all, Slam, hasn't it, between these two? You see Dames just covering it off. It's time and time again. In the end, he had to succumb to Pye.
As you can see as well in live pictures, they're still fighting. Dames actually underneath Pye, and they're nearly making contact as well. That's a big send from Pye. Sent it into so many corners on this lap. Here's another one of them. Going into Cunningham corner, and Pye has got back again on live pictures. Well, we've been going through this race saying it's quite tricky to overtake, and now they're just overtaking each other for fun at every single corner. Dames ahead now. That's 3 places changed in 3 corners.
They may as well just wind down the windows, drive side by side and hold hands with each other. That is how inseparable these two are being right now. Now, you said about just, you know, if they're not careful, they're going to lose a lot of time here. Luckily for them, they were doing exactly, well, you see, it's hard to tell between live and replay pictures right now because it's like you're seeing exactly the same set of moves being played out in real time yet again.
I think he's going to send it as well into Cunningham.
There you go. There goes Dave.
Oh, that's a little bit more ambitious. Pi had to go wide, very slight. And yeah, these guys could be lapping in the mid 58s. Instead, they're lapping in the low 2-minute flats. Venditti with a bit of a clear air now, but Arvidsson very much is off the pace, and so is Drysdale. I think that was based on the previous lap when Venditti maybe was still making that move. Venditti should be on to the back of the podium fight by the end of this race, but crazy to think that Dames was leading earlier on, and that lead place was just the worst place to be. I mean, he's helped out his teammates Schwartz and Lang, saved them a bunch of fuel, but it really threw him out in the sticks and has ruined his race. Big shame for Dames that he took pole position. That was, in the end, an awful thing to happen.
They threw him to the walls, didn't it? Really threw him out to the walls. And so between here we go, yet again, into sunset. And Dames just not quite able to get just underneath Pi enough to squeeze him out wide, and Pi looking to disrupt this Race Anywhere Sim Sport lockout at the podium positions overall and in the pro category. He wants me to ruin the party. Paul Lang just set fastest lap of the race last time around at 158.38. And in terms of pace, all this fighting again, Sam, they were 2 seconds slower than Venditti last time around were Pi and Dames. 2 whole seconds. Now that pace, I mean, with what, 11, just about 10 minutes and about 50 seconds left remaining in the final round of the championship as Dames goes for it once again, and that's going to be the move. He's going to get it done finally, but it's going to be slow off the corner. Pi with the better acceleration. It's also, you know, one of the Porsche 911's strong points, and they're side by side yet again. It's costing them more time, and Venditti is closing in even more so.
Oh, that might split it up because Pi ran encroached into Dames' space a little bit more that time and just got him out of the thought. So this one might start getting personal as they both missed the apex seemingly through tower turn.
Sam, that's the big worry, isn't it? Because if this does come personal, and if Pi ends up coming off the worst of the two, there's one Mitchell Drysdale sat lurking behind who will say thank you very much and pick up some places, pick up some points, and possibly the overall championship, the Pro-Am driver winning overall. I mean, you can see just in the background there just how close he is to the back of Arvidsson. Look, he's even got those windscreen wiper on. He wants a clear view of the rear end of Arvidsson's Porsche 911 GT3.
Drysdale getting so much better as this race has gone on. I think always his tyre conservation has been very strong. Arvidsson sort of the opposite. He's tended to struggle with the tyres this season.
Here we go.
Here comes Drysdale on the inside wall. Arvidsson fights it much. Drysdale is up into 6th position. It's still advantage Pi in the championship, and Pi could still drop down into 4th position as well. It's all about Venditti, but Arvidsson's going to come back. Drysdale's got to fight this one hard, and very much unlike earlier on in the race, he is fighting it hard. Arvidsson's right on the perimeter of the circuit, had to get out to the throttle. Finally, Drysdale though with the better exit in that Ferrari, and now he's got to try to sprint away in this middle part of the lap, try to make a gap so that he's not caught in the slipstream. Drysdale doing everything that he possibly can to take this title, but it's now really up to what Venditti and Dames can do to Pi.
Oh, Sam. Are we on for an absolute fairy tale potentially here? A grandstand finish. What a finale to an absolutely epic season it has been. And this is what it comes down to. The dying minutes of a 12-race season. So many miles covered. So many battles.
And for clarification, by the way, as well, like if Pi was overtaken by Dames, then Pi would win the championship by 1 point. So that's what we're talking about. So Pi would need to drop down to 5th. And by the way, there's a very nice fight as well in the ARMS fight forming between De Boiver and Zanon. Only half a second between those two. Zanon has been very strong in recent laps. But not a whole lot of battles going on out there, it must be said. This is where the battle is, and you can see even Fulini and Tranio in the background of that shot. 4th down to 10th really has been where the action has been as this race has progressed. As Dame's clearly faster, he's been able to catch up as he's grazing the wall on the outside there.
Well, look at, since Drysdale has got past Arvidsson, just look how much gap he's pulled out, Sam.
Really struggling, isn't he?
I don't know what it is, he just really struggles with, I know it's been the rear tyres, he was saying that at Manicourt, you know, when we were speaking to him after the race. And I think for Drysdale, he probably got, you know, it was fresh in the memory where he had like contact with Arvidsson, where he made that lunge on the final lap to go for the victory overall. That's still fresh in his memory. Didn't want to make the same mistake again. You know, as we saw, Drysdale pulled off the move. It was through contact at Manicourt, then backed out of it and allowed Arvidsson to come back through to take the victory. It was, you know, an incredible piece of sportsmanship. However, he got the move done, and it's paid dividends. He's pulled out a gap over Arvidsson. I mean, 4 seconds, no, 3.2 seconds, Sam. That is shocking. Absolutely, to the point of Martinson's on the back of Arvidsson now. It's been that much of a turnaround.
Yeah, Fulini will probably be past as well, and Trani by the end of the race. So Arvidsson, who's been really the best driver in the field in the final third of the season, won one round at Road Atlanta and a 3rd place in another one at Manicourt as well, despite him struggling near the end, and had a decent Suzuka. Should have really got a 3rd and a 1st there as well. Here at Sebring, it has all gone sour for the 10-time in a row victor back in the F3 Championship that we broadcasted a few months ago. Losing, continues losing many tenths of a second every single sector. I think this next lap Dames is going to go for it. I don't think he's going to wait behind, because that would be going against everything that they've been fighting over for the entire past 10 minutes, and I think it might be as soon as turn 1 even.
That was much more of an aggressive line from Dame. Schwartz is just the new fastest lap of the race, 1:58.24. Wow, that's a good, just having a bit of a look, that's a good 10th clear of anyone else. Frederick Schwartz, absolute fire here from Sebring in the final round of the championship. He's right now advantage Pi. Dames is close, but not close enough. 3 tenths. Venditti is right onto the back of Dames. She said Dames Sam needs to make a move sooner rather than later as we enter into the final 5 minutes of the season. Dames trying to sell Pi the dummy, just trying to maneuver him around to find a way past, setting this one up, thinking numerous corners in advance here to try and get the move done, to try and get Pi offline, but he needs to be careful because Venditti is incredibly close behind. He will just take the place off Dames without asking any questions if there's one sniff of a chance of him making some progress here, because he would love to have a go at Pi himself. 3 cars, 1 place on the podium. Who is going to take it? Well, not long left to find out here. Who do you think is going to have it, Sam?
Well, I think Venditti is probably going past the pair of these guys.
You think?
I think he's going much faster. I hope that we see much more of Nicola Venditti next season, because this season he is fairly down the order. He's 42nd, sorry, in the championship, and just looking through his results, and he's just not taken part in. He hasn't taken part in a round, I think, this year, as Venditti last took part in round 3, and that was back in December. So really fantastic that he's back in the championship, and hopefully we see much more of him, because it's fantastic. Here comes Dames through the second part of Sunset Bend. We've been waiting for this move for a while. These guys have already exhibited how it's possible, and Venditti now all over the back of these drivers. He will not be hanging back whatsoever. Dames almost making contact. He's trying to get to the inside line. It's such advantageous going through the first corner, but Pi now very tight on the inside. Got to be very aware of your periphery as your vision is impaired by your GT car. Pi holding on, but Dames getting partially alongside into turn 2, wasn't able to do anything with it, and now Venditti is the one who might start making the moves.
Wow, deep breath everyone, here we go for the final 3 minutes. All or nothing, everything on the line, just seeing further back, the cracking battle happening up and down the field. Jacoli He is. So your Tortoise is behind. Yeah, he's behind Jacoli. Me having a slight better there.
Yeah, also being able to get past now. So Zanon's had a poor lap.
He's lost
last round, so he was very close to Boyd, but looks like Boyd is going to be able to win in the AMs after all of that. Oh, here comes Dames. He's doing it. But he's gone too deep. He's onto the grass, and that will promote Drysdale up into 5th position. So Pi now in 3rd position with 116. Drysdale in 5th. At the moment, Pi would still win the title, but by 5 points. It's all about if Venditti now can pass Pi, which will surely decide this championship. Dames up in 6th position. Arvidsson continues to struggle in 7th, and Martinson in 8th.
Wow, it is still not done and dusted as we enter into the final 2 minutes. And when we come across the line, the white flag will be in the air. 1 lap left of round 12. 1 lap left of the season. And still, we do not know who will win the overall championship. Will it be Oscar Pi, or will it be the Pro-Am driver, Mitchell Drysdale, who just needs to pick up 1 more place? A net gain of 1, and Venditti's looking to do it as they cross the line. There's the white flag, it's in the air. Pi knows he's in trouble. He's gone defensive to the inside. Venditti sweeps out wide, trying to go the long way round. He's just got his nose in front, but Pi's not giving this up whatsoever. Venditti is ahead, and he's got it done as Pi pushing, trying to squeeze his way back through. And look, Drysdale, and there's contact. There's 3 wide now, and now is Drysdale going to have the pair of them on corner exit? Is he going to outdrag them both? And it looks like he's going to get it done in a dramatic turn of events here. Drysdale is ahead. He's up into 3rd, but Pi's going to be good on the brakes. He's got Venditti all over his gearbox as we come down into the hairpin. Drysdale tries to slay the pair of them up, and Venditti says, thank you very much. There's a big gap there. I'm going to slip my Lamborghini straight inside there. But net gain, Drysdale is now ahead of Pi. It is advantage Drysdale, who's still battling this one out with Venditti, and Pi's gonna follow Venditti through. He's trying to. He might just get this move done. It is as tight as you like. We are down to the final few corners. It is still all on the line here between Drysdale and Pi. Who will come away with the championship? And Pi needs to find a way past. He's running out of time. He's running out of opportunities. We've got 4 tenths of the lap remaining. 2 sectors. And then that is it. And right now, Drysdale has just pulled out 4 tenths on Pi. He just needs to hold it together, the American. Can he do it? As Venditti, is he pulling over? No, he's just trying to break the toe. It's coming all down to this, and Drysdale having none of it whatsoever. There's a formation finish up front. Schwartz is going to take the victory. Lang in 2nd. Pi's backed out of it, Sam. Pi's backed out of it. Mitchell Drysdale is your champion. The Pro-Am driver wins the Apex Racing League GT3 trophy. Wow.
What a season put together by Mitchell Drysdale. I can hear Hawks or Bald Eagles corking right now, because they'll be delighted with their American man who's been able to finally do it at the final round, and he was behind all the way the entire season. Mitchell Drysdale's behind until the very, very final lap of the season, and he's been able to clinch it. And what a move it was. And Pi struggling. Was it for tyres? Was it for fuel in those closing stages? He couldn't quite get it done. We should still congratulate Oscar Pi on the Pro Championship. That's not going to be taken away. Mitchell Drysdale is the Pro-Am champion. It is going to be Salvatore Piazzese confirms the Amateur Championship as he crosses the line now. But Mitchell Drysdale, this is one of the best achievements in an Apex Racing League series.
Sam,
a Pro-Am winning the overall title.
I would go sim racing as a whole, Sam. This is right up there. Take it in, Mitchell Drysdale. You are the champion overall. The underdog gets the job done in Sebring in spectacular fashion. After all those laps, all those miles, that's all it came down to. The final few corners of the final race. We were nearly running into overtime. and it all came his way. He had to be there right at the end to get the job done. And my golly, he was. Wow. There you go. There are the victory donuts. I think he realises now, Sam.
And congratulations to Mitch as well, because for this entire season he's been a very passive driver, and we actually saw him let past both Martinson and Arvidsson early on in the race, and he even let past Venditti as well. But I think that takes a lot of confidence, because when you're doing that, you know that you might be able to come back against those drivers later on in the race, and he did. A lot of drivers would have felt very insecure in that scenario and thought, oh, I've got to keep these guys behind. Drysdale, with enough self-assurance to let those guys go, not lose too much time, had the pace in the second half, and was able to recover that move at the end. Just really smart driving.
Wow. Let's take a little look back towards this the final lap. How did it all end here in America? And initially it was a vantage pie, but Venditti, we see that pace. He was threatening him. He was making his life incredibly uncomfortable, and Pye knew that. He could see Drysdale right behind him, looming large, and then they just got into one another where they were tripping up one another. Drysdale then comes right around the outside there, Sam, in spectacular fashion, swoops around, and in doing so, swooped to take the championship. But we didn't know it at this stage, because it was still very much game on, and especially the way Venditti was really getting involved, where you knew Pye just didn't want him to be there. He was desperate.
And Drysdale drove this, again, extremely well, because he could have lost out to Pye on this final lap and he would have still won the title. It was all about just Venditti beating Pye. Either Drysdale had to beat Pye or Venditti had to beat Pye. In the end, both happened, which was a bonus for him. But just him getting involved in there and hurting Pye into the hairpin was absolutely perfect. Pye not sure what was going on at the end there, whether it was fuel or not. He seemed to have enough power to get to the line at least. But Drysdale, what pace he had at the end of that race as well. Like, he just got so much quicker as the race went on. In those early stages, he really was nowhere. And then by the end, he was lapping half a second a lap faster than Pye.
Well, I think let's go for a break now. We'll head back to the studios and we'll meet you on the other side, where we'll get to chat to some of the drivers. Just try and pick what we have just witnessed here today. We'll see you shortly. Welcome back, and well, you see Sam isn't quite back with me yet. He's just sorting out a couple of bits of results. He's completely and utterly just dumbfounded by what we have witnessed here today. Just amazing scenes, amazing results. As we said in live commentary,
a whole season, and it comes down to the final few corners. And here he is with the official classified results. He's sorted up the points. But let's take you through your classified results here from the race today. Round 12 from Sebring. Frederick Schwartz, well, what a victory for him. Paul Lang, his teammate, making it a 1-2 and a full formation finish we saw across the line for Race Anywhere. Sim Sport. Venditti in the end comes away with the last place on the podium. Drysdale, your winner in AM, and fourth overall. Oscar Pye in the end slipping to fifth in those closing stages means that he loses the overall championship to Dames. That spin, well, it could have all been a slightly different story and looked like we're on for a Race Anywhere SimSport 1-2-3, but unfortunately Dave too deep after battling with Pye. He ends up finishing sixth, and it's Arvidsson, Martinson, Fellini and Trani running out the top 10. Trani second in Pro-Am. Samson Tricoli, great recovery there from Tricoli. Molyord, good result from him. Runs out your podium in Pro-Am with your Tortoise Yaz. Jeremy De Bruyve, your winner in Am. Tobias Olsen started from the pit lane, dead last, even then didn't get out first either. That is a great recovery drive to come back up into 17th place with Daniel Zanon second in class in Am. There's Natini Gasparini, your last podium finisher and running out top 20 in the Am category. Bazaglia, Piazzese, Bouts, Pedrell, Hall and Rigi. Klist Goose Franken was 28th. I'm moving through. Let's wait for it to click over. There we go. There we go. Then it was Burnt, Panini running up to the top 30. Those two are a lap down. Then Colishaw, Rosazzo, Renault and Lemkins. Your retirements, unfortunately, and running out to your 34 car field here. So what are the official numbers, Sal? I know you've stopped over.
And of course there are post-race penalties as well. So I mean it's never like 100%, but I don't think Mitchell Drysdale's got a penalty this season. So I think he's going to be all right on that front, honestly. But incredibly, the top six in the end separated by 63 points, which sounds like a lot of points, but considering that the championship winner got 1,066. That's a very small percentage. So in the end, Drysdale with 1,066 points, Pye with 1,051. Then it was Schwartz who managed to move up into third place. So Schwartz and Lang moving up to third and fourth. Fellini and Tricoli in fifth and sixth. Incredibly close championship. Any one of those six drivers could have won the title. Lang ending the season in fourth despite not winning a round. Another mention as well, Schwartz and Lang, top two back at Spa in the round one, and then top two in round 12. Both times absolutely dominant out in the league. Crazy how they were so dominant on the first and last round. And then in the middle, did Schwartz even get a podium? I'm not even sure. I mean, Lang didn't win a race. Like, incredible for Race Anywhere to be so strong at the bookend of the season. Yeah, it promoted them to third and fourth in the end.
And that's crazy because of the three of them, Dames, Schwartz and Lang, I would, the way the season's gone on, that midpoint in the season, other than, like you said, the bookend results of round 1 and round 12, Schwartz has looked like the slower of the three drivers. But he's been so consistent. He's kept under the radar where it's been boom or bust for Lang and Dames, where they've, fell down through the field and then make great charges to come back through again. That consistency has paid dividends, and, well, that was how our former champion, as he is now, Christoph Herbenau, got his championship, wasn't it? Just through consistency and not setting the world on fire, just being there every single week, picking away at it.
Yeah, and of course, testament to Race Anywhere. I was saying how none of them might win finish in the top 4 in the championship and still win the team's championship. 2 of them in the top 4 in the end. So I think that's much more reflective of what the season has been like for Race Anywhere. But I think we have Mitchell Drysdale standing by, and I think seeing that you've been such a big fan of him so far this season, Tim, I'll let you have a chat with him.
Mitchell, congratulations. Not only the win in Pro-Am, but the win overall. What a season it has been for yourself.
Yeah, it's after the first round, I really didn't have high hopes, didn't have pace. I guess I can thank the balanced performance for kind of bringing me back into things. And yeah, I mean, throughout the season, I just got a little bit more comfortable with the car. Never really drove it before this. And then yeah, this final round, you know, I honestly wasn't even thinking about the championship. I only found out about the situation right before the race. Quite frankly, I was just trying to make the right moves at the right time, hopefully close up and capitalize, and the opportunity kind of presented itself there at the end, and yeah, I think I made a fair move for it, and it was a great season.
Well, yeah, I mean, you mentioned obviously, you know, you were just, you know, being cautious conservative. You know, that was apparent early on, where, you know, you let the two Sim Race Sweden guys go past you with relative ease. You know, practically yield. You know, offered it on the silver platter to them, the places. But then, as Sam said, only yourself would have the confidence to let those guys by, knowing that you'd have a chance later in the race, which is proved for you all season. Obviously, coming onto that final lap, you can see Pi right in front of you. Venditti is in between the pair of you. You can see how he's attacking Pi. Just talk us through that last lap, when you came onto it, what your thoughts were, and then how you felt when you suddenly emerged out the other side of it, you know, halfway through the lap in front.
When I saw them round the final corner heading into the final lap, I was basically sitting there thinking, they're gonna go side by side through the first sector. It's more about avoidance, and I'm like, something's gonna happen. I mean, they raced clean through the first sector. It's just the opportunity then opened itself up, and I realized if I can hang around the outside again by kind of tire managing the entire time, I felt like I had good grip. And so I was able to kind of send around the outside, hold it, and then down to the hairpin. I'm like, I'm not leaving the right white line. I'm staying there up until the braking zone, open it up at the end, and then it worked out for me. And Venditti, I was flashing my lights in the final stretch. At that point, I kind of realized the situation. I'm like, stop weaving, please. Like, just focus on the final corner. Let's get through this together. You can have the position. And then, yeah, it kind of hit me that Pi was behind me at that point. So I executed it better than I thought I could have, and I'm happy I went for it and didn't just sit there and secure it sitting behind, because I might have still had a chance if I was one position behind them. But, you know, I spent a lot of the season being strategic. Might as well go out with a move. Oh,
definitely. Went out with a bang for definite. And before we let you go off and celebrate, I'm sure there's a drink waiting for you in the refrigerator lined up after this one. Is anyone you want to thank at all?
Yeah, I know for all the races, my dad was watching the stream, and afterwards always came in and was just as frustrated as he expected me to be based off certain things that happen. And yeah, there's good support system. I've made some good friends in here, like Paul, Will, Freddie. I've kind of gotten to know them quite well over the season, and they're great guys. And so happy with, as corny as it sounds, the friendships made from it. And you know, a lot of the setups I end up tweaking and kind of making myself, so no real setup shops to thank. But yeah, it's been great, and I appreciate you guys putting on the season.
Hey, well, it's been an absolute pleasure. It's been a true underdog story. It's Mitchell Drysdale, your champion in Pro-Am, but ultimately your champion overall. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
Maybe the best testimonial I think we've ever had there. Forget about the racing. The friendships that you make is what ARL is about. It's what sim.
I think it's sim racing in general. You come for the racing. You stay for the friendships that you make, and you know, the bonds that you build, and you know, people who you never have met in your life. You know, people even on the opposite side of the world who you become friends with, and you know, share life experiences, the highs, the lows, everything. And as he said, it's a family affair as well, where you know, his dad watches and he comes and he shares the frustrations, the pains, and ultimately tonight the celebrations and the jubilations of what has been just a magical story.
Well, that's the corniest 2 minutes of Apex Racing TV in history. Let's move on to the next interview. We've got Frederick Schwartz, who joins us in the virtual studio now. And Frederick, congratulations on your second race win of the season. Is it going to be a little bit odd for you, looking back at the season, to have a race win in October, then a race win in March, and nothing in between. I mean, it's going to look quite strange on the record books, I think.
Yes, it does. I mean, I said to Will and Paul, like it's the second race that actually went according to plan, how we wanted it to go. I mean, for me personally, I'm just asking myself what could have been if, let's say, the unfortunate penalties that I got in Red Bull Ring, Interlagos and Monza, if these wouldn't have been, where I basically had no real chance of getting points. If these, for me, that's what I'm asking myself, like what could have been. But yeah, I'm happy how it finished.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure many drivers will be like really the top 6 being so close in the title fight. I think they'll all be thinking, what could have been with a few of the rounds up there. But what was it? Was there something about the setup that you guys delivered tonight, which was the difference? Because you just seem to be in a different league. I mean, top 3 out there, and then we saw about 25 minutes into the race. I think for a while you were doing mid-59s, and then all of a sudden you just decided, we're just going to do mid-58s now, and just went a second a lap faster and we're pulling away. I mean, it was incredible pace by you guys tonight.
Yeah, I mean, look, I was, of course, fuel saving a bit behind Will. He was driving in front, so I could do the extra lap, and I guess I'm someone who can really get the pace when I'm in clean air. So yeah, I mean that's the potential max pace that I could get out. Like I was pushing really hard, but I mean I don't think we have a magic setup or something. I think the Lambo is just really strong, or let's say stronger than maybe the Porsche here. But yeah, like the pace, we knew the pace would be good. The first stint went how we wanted it to go, so yeah, that was the result from it.
And what's up next then for Race Anywhere Sim Sport? What championships are you eyeing up to take part in?
Of course, like the special events like that are coming now, and then we want to do, I don't know if you know them, but GSR Masters from German Sim Racing. That's also a GT3 league.
Yep.
We want to go in there, and yeah, maybe BMW Sim Cup, a couple of them.
We wish you the best of luck for you guys to continue to perform at this level in all those different series. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, Fred?
Yeah, shout out to all the supporters of the Greens of Race Anywhere. We are quite a young team, and there are already some fans. So greetings to them.
Awesome. Well, thanks for taking part in the season, Frederick, and to your teammates as well. And hopefully we see you back on Apex Racing TV in the near future.
Yeah, let's see.
Frederick Schwartz there, your 3rd place in the championship. Only 29 points off the season title in the end. Like he says, maybe a few points could have gone the other way, but like I said, Ciccoli could have had that. Fulini, you think of the spins they had at Road Atlanta and Brands Hatch, that could have swung it the other way. I mean, there's so many points for everyone that they could have gained. It was just an erratic championship, and Drysdale was the one who made the least errors.
I mean, like you said, that stint, that stat even of, like you said, about 60 points separating so many drivers. I mean, it just shows just how competitive this league has been. At times it's ebbed and flowed, dominance between one team and another. And well, talking about pro and overall there, let's talk about AM, and now joined by Jeremy Dwover, your winner here today in the AM category. Jeremy, well, what a season it has been for you, and capping it out with a win at Sebring. I mean, it's a shame we didn't have you for the entirety of the season, really.
Thank you for it was an amazing race again. It was very tough with Daniel today. I think it was a complete race and a half second behind me. Just on the last four or three laps, I can make a little gap when he make a little mistake, but for the rest, it was nice to drive here, and for me it's also a little bit a shame that I can take the whole season, but I did my best I could, and I'm very proud to that I can take these results.
I mean, yeah, like you say, it was a shame we didn't have you for the entirety of the season. Would have been spectacular to have you, but that's life. Obviously, were you surprised a little bit by Daniel Zanon's pace today, or and were you ever concerned by it at all? Because I mean, for quite a bit of the race, he was about 2, 3, 4 tenths behind you, and he was there for maintaining that gap for quite a while.
I was not surprised because Daniel can drive very well, and he was with the Porsche was very fast in the first section, and I need to go every time, and I go good traction out the corner, and for me was that the best I can do, and I saw with my pace he stay on the same level on like you say 0.4 seconds of the gap, and yeah, I tried to push as hard as I could, but not destroy complete my tires because I did a new set on the pit stop, and yeah, that worked well for me. So yes, it was okay.
And I mean, obviously, fast forward, another victory for you. Another victory to your tally that you've had this season. Of all the victories that you've had, which one's been your favourite?
Today it was a tough one because we drive 1 hour and Daniel stayed, like I say, a whole second behind. So from that one, it was a hard drive today. But for me, the most that I can take again was Monza. That was my first time I drive here, and yeah, it was nice to be competed with my disability to all the other drivers, and yeah, from that on I take a good pace and make a good result. So I'm very happy with that.
Well, Jeremy, before you let you go, anyone you want to give a shout out to or give thanks to at all?
I want to thank my family, friends, the guys from the team. I want to also thank the other competitors that we did, and hope we can see again on a new season. So thank you for everything, and see you maybe next time.
Definitely look forward to having you. Jeremy Jabovic, your winner here today at Sebring. I mean, a lot of focus has been on the competitiveness of Pro, and also Mitchell Drysdale, fighting out for the overall championship. But let's not forget about AM, because we've had some really competitive racing, and a consistent, of all the sign-ups that were in the AM category, just a consistently high turnout for that category, week in, week out, with some great racing.
Of course, Salvatore Piazzese being able to take that amateur class victory, and very well deserved as well. It was so chaotic in the first 2 or 3 rounds, wasn't it? And we were really thinking who's going to be able to put their foot down. And then it was sort of that middle part of the season, from about round 4 to round 8 or so, that Piazzese was able, really unlike anyone else, to consistently be getting top 25 positions.
That Monza, we climbed as high as 8th overall. And I mean, that if he could manage to achieve that, would have been an amazing result for an AM overall. It was spectacular. He just showed the, right time, right place. He got the incredible pace.
And I think we can have a chat with him as well right now.
Allow you to.
Yes, I will have a chat with Salvatore Piazzese. Salvatore, can you hear us?
Okay, I'm hearing.
Hello.
Hello, Salvatore. Can you hear us all right?
Hello, everyone. Sorry for my English, but I don't speak to it so well. I'm very happy to be the winner of the AM category. I especially thank my team, North Sim Racing. And congratulations to all the participants. Thank you, and see you next time.
Awesome. Thank you, Salvatore, for taking the time to chat with us. Hopefully see you soon. That was Salvatore Piazzose. Thanks to him for having a chat with us. I certainly know if this was an Italian broadcast, I would not be able to have a chat with the commentators. So no, very good effort from him there to have a chat with us. And congratulations to North Sim Race. I mean, that's a very good point from himself as well, because they've been a fantastic addition to the championship, and I mean, constantly been seeing them up there. They've really had, I think, 2 teams entered into the championship, so constantly seeing them practicing out there.
I'm talking of, well, 2s. Obviously, normally it's myself and you know, ganging up on the viewers. Should we have 2 drivers in at once?
Let's go for it.
Let's do it. What's the worst that can happen? You know, live TV and all that jazz. Now joined by Will Dames and Paul Lang. Nearly forgot who then. And well, I mean, 2 contrasting races for yourselves. And I mean, this season's been for the both of you, up and down. You know, high moments, low moments, a real mixed bag. But ultimately, myself and Sam have both been saying, you know, off air, there's a lot, you know, been a lot of raw pace between both of you. And, well, I mean, it's been an absolute pleasure watching you both.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, for us, it was a bit more unfortunate than for Fred at sometimes. But we were just trying to focus on ourselves and try to make the best of what we had. And then later during the season, we realized that the championship for the drivers might be gone, so we focused a bit more on the team championship. But yeah, like I said, we took this as a learning, and I think that's all we could do in the end, to be honest.
Well, I mean, even so, I mean, watching some of the recovery drives from, well, both of you, Paul and Will, we've seen some amazing overtaking, and you know, the way that you've been able to come back through the field like like a hot knife through butter. It's been incredible to see. I mean, put a positive spin on. I know, obviously, as a team, you know, myself, we were just speaking to Fred earlier while Sam wasn't saying, you know, how, you know, you've had a 1-2 at the first round, a 1-2 in the last round, but in between, what has been your sort of favourite drive? You know, even one where you've had to come back through the field, or it's been through a decent result anyway?
I think for me, at least, I mean, the result at the end wasn't where I wanted it, but that's just because I was trying to help my teammates out. But I really enjoyed Sebring. The race today, I think it was really good. I think the pace from all of us was really good at the front, and it was really enjoyable to just pull away all together. But yeah, I'm just happy to have the team championship as well, which is something I think we all work towards, and happy to have that under the belt. But I don't know, Paul, what was your one?
To be honest, I can't really remember. I'm also quite a big fan of Sebring, so I think that's why this one went better than the other races. Because I think I started practice for every round, like when the practice session of the league started. But on Sebring, I had like the most prior experience, so I think in the end that just helped out, and yeah, it was quite enjoyable.
And Will, just sort of going back to today, which you've just sort of alluded to there, obviously after the round of pit stops, I mean, Fred had an incredible in-lap and, you know, jumped everyone. But you seem to struggle a little bit after the pit stops. Was it just getting the tyres switched on, or was it just where you were trying to get ahead and just get away from Oscar Pye, but couldn't quite manage to break him?
So yeah, I mean, at the start of the race, it was just about kind of pulling the gap to Pye, which I think we did nicely.
Definitely.
But obviously, I was at the front of the train, and I think we kind of had the mindset going in. Obviously, I think Fred and Paul had the chance to win the drivers, or at least get close. So I just wanted to lead the train so they could save a bit of fuel behind, and then I had to refuel a bit more. But I did the opposite strategy, so I took the rear tires, and they took a couple of laps to come up. And then I was just trying to battle with Pye and just see if anything could arise with the Drivers' Championship, just to try and help my teammates out. But I really enjoyed it. It was a good battle, but I just I was kind of holding back a little bit at the end. But yeah, just thinking about the bigger picture, if you like, with the championships in mind. Yeah,
no, that's completely understandable. I mean, it looked like, you know, as much as it was a bit of a battle on your hands, it did look like you were having fun out there. I mean, overall, obviously, Fred's managed to pick up second in the pro category in terms of the championship. Yourself, Paul, third overall. Third in the pro category. I'm getting that right, aren't I? Yes?
Yeah, Paul.
Sam, yeah, that's right. Sam's quickly worked out all the points post-race. I mean, congratulations on that. You know, the team's championship as well. I mean, is there anyone you want to thank at all?
Yeah, sure. All of the Race Anywhere squad. Like we all are pretty close in the team. I feel like that's what I really like, and we can talk openly. So all of huge shout out to all of these guys. Also Pro Simrig, our sponsor. I think it's just a big family there. So yeah, big thanks to them.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Well, great speaking to you guys. Congratulations on, well, a great season, as much as it might not have felt like it at times, and you've definitely entertained both of us. Thank you for joining us. That's Paul Lang and Will Dames as well there of Race Anywhere SimSport. I mean, they've been through the mill a few times, but they've come out the other side, and with some, well, actually, when you stop and look at it, some actually really solid results. I mean, if you'd walked into this season and said, right, okay, guys, you're going to win the team's championship, and within pro, you're going to come second and third out of your 3 drivers, I think they've taken it, as well as picking up a couple of victories along the way.
I think they would. I think if you said that to them after round 1, however, when they got a dominant 1-2, I don't think they would have taken it then. And so I think they had very high expectations. But like I keep on saying, everyone made mistakes this season. The Race Anywhere drivers made mistakes. Pai missed rounds. We had Fulini make mistakes. Triccoli made mistakes. Even Drysdale had some setbacks. Everyone had setbacks. And it was a case of who could put together the best rounds. And of course, you're always going to have that over the course of 12 rounds. But yeah, I think, dare I say, and of course, this is always something that I want to be implemented whenever we can on Apex Racing TV. Most entertaining driver of the day. I think entertaining driver of the season, maybe Paul Lang, I think, because I think he's probably done more overtakes than anyone else out on circuit. So I think that
yes,
is
I think, well, I mean, close second to him, surely. Has got to be Will Downs. I mean, between the pair of them.
And of course, Dames with 3 race wins as well this season.
Well, yeah. I mean, the amount of times that they fell down through the order and then came back through it again to have, considering how far down they fell, were actually really, really good results. I think that's lended quite a bit towards it. But even then, back forth, switch. I mean, Dames and Pai, they swapped places about 4 times each lap.
Yeah.
Just alone.
That was a remarkable passage of driving. Probably denied Pai the title, but well, to be fair, even if he had lost that position, he would have lost the championship. So yeah, it was a bit iffy. But Oscar Pai, actually, we might be able to have a chat with him, who, whilst he didn't win the overall title, is our pro drivers champion. Oscar, do you have a read on us?
What?
Sorry, I've just asked in a really convoluted way. Can you hear us? But I think that is a clarification now. Congratulations on the pro title. How do you feel there at the moment? Because you've won the pros, but you haven't won the overall. So is it a little bit mixed emotions?
Yeah, I'm happy to have won the championship. Obviously, I was, I think, 200 points in front before missing few rounds, so it didn't help to win the overall championship. And Mitchell did a very good championship with good pace, and he was really consistent on every round. So well done to him for the win of the overall championship. And yeah, I'm just happy about winning the pro championship, even though that race didn't went as I would have wanted.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about the championship on the whole in a moment, but let's have a quick word on today's race. Really good pace in that first half of the race. And it just seemed once you got embroiled in that battle with Will, it seemed to sort of go downhill for you. You seem to be struggling a little bit for pace in that final 15 minutes. Did you burn out the tyres perhaps? Was there a bit of a fuel issue? Because, right at the end, Drysdale was really coming at you guys very quick.
No, it was I think I got damaged, and at the beginning of the race, I was just driving easy and calm because I was discovering a bit the setup and everything, and then I noticed that I have some good pace, so I start to push a bit, and I overtake Paul, and then yeah, I don't know, it just like crashed into me in turn one, like we were all following, and I don't know what he did, but then I don't know if it was damage because I didn't put I forgot to put I unclicked the fast tripper before the race, and I didn't thought to put him back while I was driving, so maybe it was a bit of damage or I don't know what. And then at the pit I changed the tires, which I think wasn't the right strategy, because then I was really slow after the pit. Fighting didn't help, so yeah, I don't know why. Maybe the tires were not a good idea.
Yeah, we did see that little bit of contact with Paul, and it was very unfortunate, yeah, for yourself. Yeah, it was just a little bit of contact, and like you said, could have well played quite a part in the rest of the race. But when you look back at the season, is there any standout drives you think for yourself? I mean, with 6 race wins, you got a fair few to choose out between.
Yeah, every race was good fun, and it's unfortunate that I wasn't home to drive Road Atlanta, Suzuka, and Manicure at home. I mean, French at least. And so yeah, I think every race was enjoyable. It was a good chance.
That's certainly good to hear. And of course, you're part of the Coanda Junior team. What are the next steps for yourself in that? I mean, are there certain championships that you need to take part in when you're part of that team, or is it kind of free to take part in whatever you want? I mean, what's your sort of next few months looking like in the sim racing world, and what's it looking like in the real racing world as well?
In the sim racing, I will do the BM Sim Cup, and I don't know exactly when will be the best qualifiers, but I think I will do them as well. And in real racing, I will continue my karting season with the European and French Championship, and yeah, karting racing.
Awesome. Well, we wish you the best of luck with all those championships, Oscar. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to at all?
Yeah, once again, thanks to Coanda, and yeah, thanks to everybody who supports me.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on the Pro Championship tonight, Oscar, and hope to see you back winning more races on the channel basing.
Thank you.
Oscar Pye there, your Pro winner, and certainly a name to keep an eye out on, safe to say to him, not just in the sim racing world, but really looking forward to see what he can do with his real life karting. Yeah, hopefully he can get the results needed to pursue a proper career in real life motorsports, and then we can say that we had something to do with it on the way.
Oh, definitely. I mean, he's one young man who's really living his best life right now, isn't he?
Yeah, for sure. And,
I mean, you know, I would love to have been in his position, you know, karting, sim racing. Fortunately, it wasn't really, well, sim racing online wasn't about so much when I was his age, but hey, you know, times have changed and it's more accessible for people as well. And do you know what? Good luck to him. He's clearly got a lot of talent. And like you say, I think possibly one we're going to see, I think certainly in the esports world, hopefully in real life, you know, in a few years' time. Can't wait to, you know, watch him progress and grow.
Yeah, for sure. He's already on pace, so like you give it a few months and he's just getting better and better, and well, maybe even yeah, Pesk next season as well. Perhaps we'll see him in that.
But so, yeah, you never quite know, do you?
Yeah,
definitely going to be fascinating to see how he gets on with that one. And well, hopefully we'll be seeing him in Pesk and a bit of BMW Sim Cup he mentioned as well. Let alone all the raft of officials that we've got coming up on like the iRacing platform, just to boot. Good on him. Wow, I believe that's all the drivers who've popped in for a bit of a chat with ourselves, but what a season it's been, Sam. What a season it has been. I mean, I'm just lost for words, really. We've had everything, haven't we? Yeah. Absolutely everything. Except for rain. Come on, iRacing, come on. That's the only thing we haven't had.
Yeah, it's been really great to get to know the drivers as the season's gone on. It's always a shame at the end of the season that you kind of get used to the liveries, you know who everyone is, and then everything gets reset for the following championship because not going to be using the same cars or anything. But that is how it goes. But yeah, really great to see so many great names, and yeah, such a nice round of interviews that was. We've got some nice people in the series, which is always good. And of course, if you want to join any of the Apex Racing League series, do check out apexracingleague.com. Only a matter of a few months until the GT3 trophy comes back. But yeah, I think that's pretty much.
We've got 1 week's time. That's the end of this season. Porsche Cup starts. Myself and you back in the studio here, same time, same place. Fully subscribed, or there's still some places on that one?
It's like 52 out of 60 places filled. So
you need to get in there quick.
Very, very quick. Probably by Sunday they'll probably be filled.
And then a week after that, so 2 weeks' time, an even longer show because we're bringing in a support race in the form of the brand new Clio Cup, Sam. I'm really excited about that car, as you can tell. And, well, there's still a chance, obviously, for the drivers to sign up for that one, definitely, because there's still a bit more time until that kicks off. Yeah, as I mentioned, 2 weeks from today.
Yeah, 2 weeks still, and of course you can sign up for the Formula 4s and the Prototype Championship as well. So all available on apexracingleague.com.
Exceptional value for great racing, and as Mitchell Drysdale said there, you know, you make friends and connections, and who knows where it will lead you. But well, stand-up moment or driver from the season for you?
I think best race of the season was Suzuka. I really like that one. It's something to do with the track or something. But I think best lap of the season was the final lap tonight, I must say, at Sebring. So I think that one's a very good shout. But yeah, Mitchell Drysdale, I think, to put together the championship, he did the one consistent driver at the top of the order to be able to put together the results they did. Yeah, thoroughly deserved title win, and something that I don't think something that we're not going to see for a little while. To come. I
mean, as records go, that is a big one, isn't it? It's to use a football analogy, it's Leicester City when they won the Premier League, 5,000 to 1 outsider. I mean, yes, Drysdale, you could see early on he did have a lot of pace, but even so, I mean, yeah, I mean, hard to dispute those two. I think for me as well, another standout moment in the series when Drysdale versus Arvidsson for the victory at Manicourt. Makes contact with him on the final lap, gets moved under Drysdale, doesn't want to win the race in that way, felt guilty, backed right out of it, and gave the place up and finished second. A sporting moment, you can't really ask for any more than that.
And it just happened to be when I was there. I wasn't there. So
it was.
I'm not going to take that personally.
Mind you did miss his the first Pro-Am win of the season overall, didn't you? Sorry, I missed that one.
You missed that one, yeah.
Yes, because at Brands Hatch, but yeah, all good. So, it's time to wrap things up. What a season it has been. As we said, highs, lows, drama, started all the way back in October. It's been one big super season. Then we finish here in March at Sebring. And more to boot. We get a Pro-Am win the championship overall. You could not write it, could you? This is why we love sim racing. This is why we come sim racing. And thanks very much for joining us. I've been Tim Cox with Sam Fitzpatrick and all the team here at Apex Racing TV. Good night.